Hello and welcome to NEWSPASTE. Look at the size of this man's head. Look at his size of his head. Do you see the size of this man's head? And let's look at this. What are we doing? We're on France. We're in France. Can you believe we're in France? Sacre bleu. Yes. Non, ce n'était pas la radeau de la méduse, se battre quand se le dit enfants des pas des enfants des beaux. And there you go. Look, there's this guy. He's got a beard. He probably looks like he's from originally from the northeast of northwest of France. I'd say he looks like Britannique. He looks like he's from Brittany or somewhere. Look at that shirt, blue and pink. Whoa, look at that tie on shirt action. That's special. And what's he gonna do? Well, he's on a program it's called something like True or False or Truth or Fact or Misinformation or Disinformation. Yeah, he's gonna try and convince you about someone being evil for reasons which are quite hilarious. You know, they want to aim at people. And what they're aiming at today is a guy called Stu Peters. You may have heard of Stu Peters. I've heard of Stu Peters. In actual fact, someone from Stu Peters' unit got in touch with me the other day and said, "Do you want to come on Stu Peters?" And I said, "Yes, I'd like to." So whether that unfolds is whoever is going to unfold. And then I came across this, and it's one of a few things we'll look at in NEWSPASTE today. Look at this man with his big head. That's what we're going to look at today. Do you like him? I don't think you're going to like him. He's going to tell you all about how Steve Peters is a liar. And why is he a liar? Well, we will discover now, won't we?
Time now for Truth or Fake. I'm joined on set by France 24's Venica Barhel. Venica, it's good to see you as ever. Today you've been looking into Stu Peters. Now, for those who don't know, he's been compared to Alex Jones and Andrew Tate in terms of his fall.
Stu Peters has been compared to Alex Jones and Andrew Tate, which are if you wanted a plump, round figure, you'd go with Alex Jones, and if you wanted a tall, lanky figure, you'd go with Andrew Tate, wouldn't you? And I'd ask this guy on TV for Truth and Fake, on France 24. I'd ask him one question: if he's going to continue on this type with this type of tone, where is your Bugatti? Where is your Bugatti? Tell me where your Bugatti is.
All right, views and sharing conspiracy theories online. He used to be a key anti-vaxxer and COVID misinformation sharer, but recently you found he's focused on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. What can you tell?
Oh, COVID misinformation. This guy is saying that that's what they're selling. That's the line they're selling. They're telling the truth, and the other guys are telling misinformation, and they've got to go through this now. They can no longer avoid tackling these issues because they're losing credibility quickly, because that's what they do, because they keep telling lies. And now they got to say, look how the other people are telling lies over and over again until their audience again believes that those people are telling lies. So that must mean, logically, that these people are telling you the truth. Logically.
Yes, Fraser, this week Stu Peters, the American far-right influencer and TV host, has published no less than 3 misleading pieces of information surrounding the war in Ukraine. One of them, published just 2 days ago, shows Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Joe Biden climbing the stairs together in Kyiv's Mariinsky Palace. Now,
oh my God, you know what they're going to do here. They've already got the face circled, and I'm sure if you haven't heard this story, you can guess what's being said. You can read what's written on there. It says, here's the video, glitch in the Matrix. Now, I think everybody can work out what's going on here, but what is going on here is this is really funky. This is really funky, because what she's going to do is claim something that is obviously true as a conspiracy theory, instead of aiming at the part of this, which is obviously Stu Peters saying a glitch in the Matrix, so you're seeing something twice. Let's have a little listen.
In the video attached to these tweets, we can see a man resembling Volodymyr Zelensky appear, follow the two, and then suddenly stop. Now, according to Stu Peters, this represents a glitch in the Matrix, and he went on to perpetuate the theory that this man is a lookalike or a double of Volodymyr Zelensky. Now,
Perpetuate. Now they have caught themselves out on this, and they don't care. It's a bald-faced lie. They don't care. Of course, he's a bloody body double. He's the main security for Zelensky. He looks exactly like him. He's the same build as him. Of course, he's a security double. Saddam Hussein had an army of doubles. People have written long books about how many doubles they had. Of course, he's got a double. Of course, he has. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's not the part of this you take out. Look, he said it's a glitch in the Matrix. That must mean he thinks that you're Keanu Reeves. This is how they are. These are the chickens.
Now, this is a theory that we've seen for a long time from Russian propagandists surrounding the war in Ukraine.
Russian propagandists. They have body doubles. Does Putin have body doubles? Yes. So you're a Russian propagandist, then, are you? Yes. Is what you said true? Yes. It doesn't matter. You're a Russian propagandist. That must mean you're evil. You're like Stalin.
Ukraine, we've covered this a lot here on Truth or Fake before, and it's very visible on pro-Russian accounts on Telegram and on Twitter. But this video actually shows Maxim Donets. He is Volodymyr Zelensky's official bodyguard. This is...
So wait, look at it. Look at it, this is ridiculous. She has to check which one's Zelensky, because they look so much alike. And he's the security, the head of security. And people don't think that he's wearing exactly the same clothes and hanging around him all of the time, and it's going to be used. And that's a conspiracy theory. That's the conspiracy theory. That's the France 24 are digging right at the bottom of that barrel. They're scraping up whatever's at the bottom, and they're trying to make you eat it. I want you to eat it, whatever it is.
A photo from the same visit published by French media L'Express, and as we can see, he does have a similar height and build to the Ukrainian president, but he does have...
He's a security body double. He's the top security man for him. What do you think he is? Are you completely retarded beyond degree? This is amazing. The fact that you are using this as an argument is beyond truth or fake. We don't know anymore. We don't know what's going on. Yes, we do. No, we don't. Look, this is going on, and this isn't what you say. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Stupid.
Very discernible, distinguishable, and different facial features. Now we can see him again in these photos published last August with Boris Johnson, but again, similar height and build, but they are very, very much different people. Now, Stu Peters also shared this tweet with his followers earlier this week, and this one racked up over 17 million views there. He posted these two photos of the same building in Ukraine. One was taken last year.
Right, this is amazing. So they get to this building that got bombed. They got hit. I'm not sure that they could have repaired that in that way. I would think that they would have to pull these things down, surely. So it does make sense that you'd question that it's not got any sort of bomb on it or anything like that later on. So you would. I can see why you would. It even looks like it's exactly the same color. They've done a fantastic, if they've just rebuilt that, they've done a fantastic job.
In February 2022 and one from this year in 2023. Now, he claims that this war is fake or staged and that these buildings couldn't possibly have been touched by any missiles or bombs because it would be impossible to restore the building to this condition in this time. Again, this is a popular pro-Russian theory that we have seen numerous times here, again, even on Truth or Fake, the war being a hoax. Now, this building's reconstruction has been pretty heavily documented.
Look at this, look at this. This is the proof. They got a crane in the background. It's really awkwardly taking picture of this building. What looks like a crane in the background, which could just be superimposed, could just be... And it's got a glowing yellow line around it. And it's written in Ukrainian, I think that must be, or Russian, who knows? But it's got a big line, right? It doesn't even look like a real picture, does it? Where's it got chemtrails? What's the chemtrails all about? Are you trying to trigger people? Because you're bloody triggering me.
Both Western and Ukrainian media. After Russian troops withdrew from Kyiv last March, that is exactly what allowed this building to be rebuilt. And as it was discussed quite heavily in this article from Ukraine's The Village, the building was documented stage by stage of its reconstruction, Fraser.
You could show it then.
And Veronica,
documented stage by stage, so can't you show it? You just said it could be documented stage by stage. Instead, you've shown a building with a piece out of it, and it's got a yellow line around it, and it's obviously been computer altered. It's been altered by computer. The yellow line isn't there, is it? All of the things in the background isn't there, is it? There's no chemtrails in the sky. Is the crane even there? Who knows? It's been altered by computer, and that's the evidence. Truth or fake? Look at this fake picture. This is true. Now, look at this true picture, and this is fake. This is truth or fake on France 1984.
Having quickly debunked those two pieces of misinformation, what other analysis do you have on Stu Peters' account?
After quickly debunking nothing. Look at that face. Now, this is the poor screen you wanted. That's the inside of this man. You know what he sounds like inside? He sounds like this. Yeah. Stu Peters. Bah.
Well, Stu Peters is the creator of The Stu Peters Show. This is a program published directly to his personal website. He is prolific for sharing misinformation surrounding COVID-19. But yes, recently he has sort of traversed into a slightly different vein there, focusing on pro-Kremlin discourse. He's also a keen publisher on the platform Rumble. Now, that's a platform banned here in France.
Rumble is banned here in France. Why? Because we can't control the information and we like to saying, you sound like Germans! What the fuck? Damn you, Rumble! And anyway, Rumble's Peter T. I mean, I'm on Rumble, loads of people on Rumble, etc., etc. It's banned in France. The French people are told what they're allowed to listen and watch. They're not allowed to watch that. They're not allowed to watch that. They're not allowed to do this. They're not allowed to do that. I lived in France. I know what they're like. They like to tell you what to do. They like to tell you what to do.
He's quite popular with the American far right, and he does still heavily post his sentiment still on Telegram and Twitter. Now, speaking of his Twitter account, he does have over 232,000 Twitter followers there. Interestingly, he wasn't always given this level of access to spread misinformation. His account was previously banned by Twitter in August of 2021.
So Hamilton 68 banned and censored his channel like the censorship hounds love. You can't make up your own mind. We're making up your mind for you. And it's disgusting that you get a chance to get back on and speak equally with everybody. How dare you rise above your station, Stu Peters?
He was reinstated to the platform in December last year. And that's something possibly in line with Elon Musk's amnesty for suspended accounts. Now, via the social analysis tool Social Blade, we could also see that Peters racked up over 43,000 new followers in just January of this year. And very interestingly, according to this study by the CCDH, that's the Center for Countering Digital Hate, this is an NGO dedicated to fighting online hate.
She's an NGO, so it creates hate all around and then tells people what is hate and what isn't hate and redefines things, like all of the rest of the NGOs that go round and manipulate the minds of people in what is fifth generation warfare. The thing that's on the screen right now is fifth generation warfare. This is PSYOPs. Truth or fake? This is PSYOPs. This is them getting inside your mind, telling you what's true, telling you what's fake. You can't make up the decisions for yourself, stupid human.
Speech. According to their study, Peters was one of 10 accounts of extreme far-right accounts.
Far-right accounts. They're calling Robert Malone far-right, and they're calling Peter McCullough, far right. They're calling those far right. They're making a list and they're putting on Andrew Tate and his Bugatti, and they're putting on Stu Peters, and then they'll put on Robert Malone and Peter McCullough. You're a doctor, are you? Best in your field, is it? Get on the list, you far right bastard! You said something about COVID. What did you say? It doesn't matter. We're on this thing anyway. We hate you. Get on the list with Stu Peters. Shut up. Shut up and do what we say.
Reinstated by Twitter as part of a sort of galaxy of conspiracy influencers that generate a profit for Twitter. Now, between them, they've reportedly gained around enough engagement to generate up to $19 million as a total in advertising revenue. And according to this study by the CCDH,
and how much has France 24 or other news channels done? Who funds you? I can tell you, when you go over to the BBC, who funds the BBC? Why, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. USAID. All of the normal people, they fund them. Why wouldn't you want your news brought to you by the people? So who funds France 24? I'm willing to put my neck on the block and say it's the enemies of Robert Malone, Peter McCullough, Stu Peters, Andrew Tate. And Andrew Tate, that's throwing them in there. And they earn a lot of money. Yeah, that's because they do a lot of stuff and they earn ad revenue, do they? And that benefits Twitter, does it? Yes, that's how business works. So you say you want to change business? What do you want? Communism? You want communism? You want everybody to be equal? Is that what you want? You want fake equality?
Stu Peters' account alone has wrapped up and would be bringing in around $526,000 a year.
Vedika, thank you so much for that deep dive. Vedika Bahal there with Truth or Fake.
Truth or Fake, everybody, with Mr. Fatty Boom Boom. Mr. Fatty Boom Boom. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I am enjoying this. I'm enjoying this a lot. We're going to go to a new video, and she's one of my favorites. I think me and this lady, one day, we're going to get together, Marianna. Marianna! This is my Marianna Spring. Poor girl, Marianna Spring, she gets misogynistic abuse from men because she's not got a Bugatti. Where's your Bugatti? What's she got to say? Well, she's on the forefront nowadays of the BBC's fight, just like you saw with France 24, their fight against misinformation and disinformation. And they are saying things that are misinformation, disinformation, which just aren't, which are provably not. And they are wording it, and they are just out there. But these are the ones who put their heads on the block because they get paid a load of money. They think it's going to give them status. And in 10 years, they will be thrown to the wolves. Thrown to the wolves. She has got an expiry date on her, and her type has got an expiry date on it. Let's do this. Should we do this? Should we do this? Let's do this. Let's listen to this woman. She is frustrating.
I'm Marianna Spring. I'm the BBC's first ever specialist disinformation and social media reporter. And what that means is that I investigate the human cost of online conspiracy theory.
The human cost of online conspiracy theory. That's funny. I look into the human cost of Tim Westwood while he was working for the BBC, abusing and raping. How about that? I and others on the people you're aiming at look at the BBC and expose them, and now the BBC are on its belly, guts out. Marianna Springs is funded by who? Well, BBC News is funded by exactly the people I just said. She is funded by Bill and Melinda Gates. She is funded by USA. This is who's paying. Marianna's wages is not the taxpayer. It's not TV licenses. It's not that. That goes in different places, in different ways. The majority of their money comes from CIA cutouts and organizations that put the words in her mouth. They don't even need to. She's willing to speak them. She's willing to speak the lies. That's what she's willing to do. Marianna Spring, poor girl, she gets attacked. Oh, conspiracy theorists.
Theories, trolling, abuse, disinformation, social media investigations in general, and I've been very busy during the pandemic.
Here's our specialist disinformation reporter, Marianna Spring.
She's disinformation.
Anti-vaccine conspiracies have surged on social media, and everyday citizens have found themselves on the front line battling mistruths.
None of these rollouts have been of traditional vaccines. They've all been of mRNA gene therapy products. So instantly from the off, they've had to change the definition to make this work. To make this true, they had to change definitions. That's how it works. That's what they do. This is what they do.
The main story that's shaped my career has been online disinformation and conspiracy theories around the pandemic in particular. I spent a lot of time investigating conspiracy
so what are you
movements
marching there? Well, so conspiracy movements. This is people marching. This is people marching. Give no reason why they're marching. Well, they're marching because the cost was put down for people to take mRNA gene therapy and for a mass human experimentation. This is Marianna Springs. This is what the new face of all of the old eugenics of the past looks like. This is eugenics. This is trying to create genes. mRNA, gene therapy, eugenics. Don't you get it?
Social media, the tactics that they use for Panorama, for example, or where that movement is headed for Newsnight. We have lots of misconceptions about who believes online conspiracies and why they do, that people have to be stupid or mad or ridiculous. And actually, that's not the case at all. And they tell us a lot about how social media works and the impact.
No, they're looking at data. They're looking at data of how to change behavior. They're looking at psychological behavior changing. They look at behavioral insights, and they're looking at why and how they can change your behavior. Not so that you will believe truth. It's so that you will believe them. Just them. No one else. Just them. They're the purveyors of truth. Anybody who tells you that is a liar. Anybody.
Impact it's having on our world. They tell us a lot about society and new fault lines that are opening up across communities. With a lot of my reporting, I really try to arrive with empathy. I think particularly when it comes to online conspiracies and also trolling, people can tend to have quite a hardened attitude to it. They don't want to understand. They've kind of shut themselves off. And I want to be able to understand so that I can investigate and interrogate and hold to account.
And what would life have looked like if you hadn't emerged from that rabbit hole?
She hasn't said anything.
Went to some dark places.
Who's this random?
When I attend a rally, we'll think a lot about the personal security of me, making sure that we have a team that's fully equipped, that's prepared for what's going on, that we understand more about who's at that protest and why, so that we're ahead of the game, essentially. And particularly when I did...
Your Marianna Springs is not going to any protest now. All of this stuff was taken while they were at protests in the past when she was lower key. Now they put it out forefront. She's not going to protest in the future. She's not going because she's lying about all these people. These people who are marching around, who are normal people, she's trying to make look like nationalists, trying to make look like idiots, while at the same time saying, these people aren't idiots, and then treating them like idiots and calling them liars and calling them conspiracy theorists, calling them all of these names. When she's pushing this thing out as a vaccine, when quite simply is mRNA gene therapy, isn't it?
The report for Newsnight that was about attending these anti-lockdown rallies, I actually spoke to a number of protesters who I interviewed for that report before we headed there. And I think that's really important, not just understanding how they'd become a part of this movement and how their often very legitimate concerns, political criticisms had become muddled with online conspiracies, but also so that we were accepted within that protest so that we actually could speak to people and we could...
So you accept, so we have to do this and we have to do that, we have to obfuscate, we have to lie, we have to try and act like different people so we can actually take part in this thing, because otherwise people will say, what, you're coming here to make fake propaganda that later on you can say we're all liars, and you can redefine everything, just like is Orwellian as you'd expect.
Try and understand. And that's not always easy. I mean, we were greeted with quite a lot of hostility. There was one moment where there were people who started shouting that we should be hanged and that we were BBC scum, and we were, retreating back, and I genuinely did feel quite frightened.
A big group formed around us.
You spend all your time lying about these people, saying nasty things, and then you created this state where you go into the crowd, you have a couple of people who are having a go at you, and you go, I felt very scared. Very scared. What about when an entire mainstream news channel, the most watched news channel that forces money out of people's pockets to have this BBC entity so it can run, taking money off people like Bill Gates and USAID and pretend to be publicly funded when it's fucking not? You use that instrument of power, massive instrument of power, to put the cost down on these people who are in the camera here. And what are you doing? What are you painting them as? You're painting them as what you're doing.
I will never play my TV like that.
When I first started receiving abuse and threats online for the reporting I was doing, I really wanted to investigate it some more because I couldn't understand why there wasn't more being done to protect people from this kind of abuse. And I also noticed how gendered a lot of the hate I was getting. It would always
protect me. I was wondering why people can say things like you're a lying scumbag who's spreading propaganda and they can get away with it. Well, you're a lying scumbag who's spreading propaganda, Marianna. Oh, yeah, well, let's ignore that. Let's redefine scumbag, shall we? To be really good person. Okay, Marianna, you're a really good person. Yeah, maybe we should protect you, seeing as you're a really good person and not a scumbag.
Focus on me being a young woman. It would often include rape threats, death threats, really aggressive language. And I wanted to get to the bottom of exactly why that.
I don't believe it. I don't believe often. I don't believe often. If you're saying that the message of the book, the most messages she received were rape threats and stuff, I don't believe that's so. I just don't believe it. People don't waste their accounts for that sort of stuff. Show it. Prove it. And what is it? People shouting at you. Shouting at you why? There's an array of people. Is there a spectrum? You're going to say, look at these people who shouted at me. Then look at this small amount of people who said something really, really bad. All of those people are now those people. I've painted them. I've misinformed you, given you disinformation, made you think that all criticism of me means that you want me raped. That's what she's doing here. This is how propagandists work. This is how they work. This is what she's doing. And the BBC are so close to what original Leninist propaganda looks like.
Was happening and who it was impacting, particularly women in this case.
Like the vaccine.
The past 6 months, I've been anxious enough to report the most serious hate I received to the police. I've now reported a latest new batch of threats and abuse, some that really frighten me because they seem much more violent.
I'm sorry, you're just saying a lot of this and you lie constantly. So I really can't believe anything she's saying because she can make the most out of the one, but the most criticism she gets is for being a lying scumbag, and that's exactly what she is.
Over the past 5 years, there's been a 107% increase in people, mainly women, reporting online hate. But over the same period, only a 32% increase in the number of arrests.
I often
So what does that tell you? Does that tell you that a lot of the reports of online hate may not eventually end up in being actual online hate once investigated? That's what it tells you. It tells you the majority are probably investigated or looked at and said, well, that's a report of online hate, but it's just some people arguing online. Oh, yeah, but they said I was a stupid woman. Yeah, and you could say he's a stupid man. It's your opinion, isn't it? Oh, yeah, but no, that's misogynistic!
Received lots of messages from people affected by abuse and trolling, but also by disinformation and conspiracies. And I kept thinking...
How many people who were talking sense about being careful about the vaccine were attacked by all of these people and called names and bullied, and these people turned their entire communities, all of their families against them, and yet they're the evil ones. That's not what's happened on the other way, but they're the evil ones. That is how it is.
Thinking how If I, as a reporter who, you know, is able to contact social media sites and the police, I'm still experiencing this, what about all the other people? What about everyone else who's having to put up with this in their day-to-day lives, when it's frightening, when it's scary, when it's really affecting them? And in many ways, it sounds sort of a bit weird to say, but you know, I'm very fortunate relative to so many of the people that get in touch with me. You know, I'm really well supported, and
Yeah, she's really well supported. What is she? She's a BBC misinformation agent, and I have been contacted by these people over the past year in relation to the past few years in relation to Tim Westwood case, where they've tried to get me on board something with the BBC, and I've refused to work with the BBC, because if you work with the BBC, they then set a narrative that's not true, and they make it so, and then they put up someone up in front. And like I studied with the Luntz-Wexner analysis, anybody knows, the PR firms will tell you, you stick a woman up in front, she talks about how she gets abused for talking about this. People focus on that and don't focus on the subject, where the subject that they're doing is abusing rational-minded people. They're causing people to call them names, say nasty things, say they're saying misinformation and disinformation when they're not, and basically gaslighting, aren't they? Yes, they are.
I understand how this works, and I investigate it, and I get it, and I know kind of who to get in touch with about different things. A lot of these people are totally on their own, and so I really want to be able to help them with my reporting and to reveal and expose what's happening to them, and to hold to account social media companies or...
That's it. There you go. I'm going to report this so that I can get them to close down accounts. I can get Twitter to close down accounts. I can get Facebook to close down accounts, and we can target certain accounts, and we can do this. This is what a 5th generational warfare battle looks like. You are a psyop, Marianna Springs. Your company is funded partially by a CIA cutout. So you are a psychological operation doing behavioral psychological insights and then reporting them and trying to control and manipulate the scene, aren't you, Marianna?
Other institutions or other people that are causing that real world harm or a link to that real world harm.
I got Marianna Devoni on my mind. Oh, David.
Shaping a great reset for the post-corona era.